Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Sunday, May the 9th. We do have a 6-game Sunday slate to break down. As always guys, we're going to go through each game and talk about each team on this 6-game slate. Now this is my second time recording this video. I originally already had this video almost made. I was towards the end of being done recording, and some dude's car alarm goes off outside for like 5 minutes straight, so I had to stop the recording and redo it. I'm super annoyed right now, so I'm going to go pretty quickly, just kind of run through these games real quick and give you guys my thoughts on this slate. But yeah, before we get started, guys, hit that like button. Appreciate the likes as always. Hit the subscribe button as well. And if you do really enjoy my YouTube videos, you want to see more content that I do have to offer, I do have a lot of additional stuff on Patreon you can check out. Link down below in the description. I have additional core plays I post there. My full updated core plays are posted on Patreon. I have a Discord chat that is available for members where you can ask me questions basically all throughout the day up until lock. I'm always in there to answer your questions. Also do my sheets for Monday through Friday. I post sheets on Patreon listing off my favorite plays at each position for cash games, for GPPs. So if that's something that does interest you, if you want to check out more content from me, you can check out the Patreon link down below in the description. But yeah, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the 6-game slate. Again, I'm going to go pretty fast since this is my second time recording this. I'm pretty annoyed, but on the Dallas side today, looking at Dallas and Cleveland, this is a game I don't have a ton of interest in. We know Porzingis is going to be out again. Luka you could pay up for, but like in a slow-paced game, I don't have a ton of interest in Luka here. There are some other studs I do prefer over Luka. I think the mid-range looks pretty strong today, so I don't think I'm going to be jamming in Luka. If you want to go to him, I think he's okay. He's probably the one guy I would be looking to from this Mavs team. Even with Porzingis out, I don't really have much interest in Dwight Powell or Willie Cauley-Stein. You just never know what the minutes are going to look like for those two guys. They're going to split the minutes. Some games Powell will play more. Some games Cauley-Stein will play more. They've both been priced up to a point where I really don't see much in the front court. Like, there's no value from this Dallas team, so it's really just Luka, and that's probably it. And on the Cavs side, this is a team I really just don't have a ton of interest in either. Colin Sexton, obviously benefits with Darius Garland out, but he's been priced up to $9K. I just don't feel like I need to pay for Sexton at that price. Like, rarely does Colin Sexton win you a slate when he's $9K. Like, you just never feel like he's a guy you have to roster at that price point. Do want to mention that Kevin Love's questionable. If he gets ruled out, maybe you could go to Dean Wade for value. Dean Wade did start last game, played 30 minutes, wasn't very productive, but he's cheap. The minutes would be there if Love sits. Don't mind him. But really, this game's probably just Luka for me, and that's really it. Now, on the next game, we got New Orleans and Charlotte. This is one I do have a lot of interest in. On the New Orleans side, we already know that Zion has been ruled out, while Brandon Ingram is doubtful, so he's not expected to play. So we should have both Zion and Ingram out today. Basically the same scenario that we did have last game. Now, Lonzo Ball, I was very high on him last game with Zion and Ingram out. And he didn't have that great of a game, only had 34 DK points in 34 minutes. He was a lot lower owned last slate than I thought he would be. I thought he was going to be pretty popular, but he only came in around 13% owned in most of the tournaments I was in. I think the ownership on Lonzo is going to be probably around the same today. Maybe he'll be a little bit popular just because we don't have as many games today, but I do like Lonzo a lot with no Ingram, with no Zion. There's going to be a lot of usage available for Lonzo. He definitely is a guy that has triple-double upside. We know Lonzo can contribute in all categories. He didn't have that good of a shooting game last game, which I think is one of the reasons he, had such a bad scoring game, DK-wise. If he even knocks down like 50% of his shots, then you're probably getting like 42, 44 DK points from Lonzo. I think he's got upside. We've seen Lonzo go out there and put up massive games in a good matchup against Charlotte. And, if you want to factor the narrative in of him facing LaMelo, him going up against his brother, I guess you could factor that in too. But I definitely like Lonzo here. Even at 8,400, I still like him a good amount with no Ingram and with no Zion. And I do like Lonzo a lot on Yahoo. I think he looks even better over there. $30 on Yahoo. Lonzo definitely one of my favorite plays today for sure. NAW is probable. He's expected to play, but he hasn't played in about a month or so I'm assuming the NAW will probably be on some sort of minutes limit. With him back, maybe that takes a little bit of usage away from guys like Lonzo and BLEDSOE, but I do want to talk about Eric BLEDSOE. Even with NAW playing, like I said, I think NAW is going to be limited to probably like 20 to 25 minutes. Eric BLEDSOE did play 40 minutes last game with both Zion and Ingram out. He took 20 shots. He got a lot of usage. He also had a pretty bad shooting game, only 35% from the field, 14% from three. Like, if Eric BLEDSOE knocks down 50% of his shots last game, he's probably going for 45 DK points. He could have had a way better game than he did. Clearly, without Ingram and without Zion, there was a lot of usage available for guys like Lonzo, Eric BLEDSOE, NAW off the bench. NAW, I'm not going to play just because I assume he'll be limited. But Eric BLEDSOE, I still do like at 5,600. I think we get probably 32, 34 minutes from him. I doubt he plays 40 minutes again, but 32, 34 minutes from Eric Bledsoe with no Zion, with no Ingram. He should average around a fantasy point per minute. I know Bledsoe has not been that productive this season, but with all these guys out, there's a lot of usage available, and I do expect Eric Bledsoe to be a pretty big beneficiary. So Bledsoe's another guy that I like. I'm definitely looking at him on both sides. I think on Yahoo, again, he looks really good there. $17, way too cheap for Eric Bledsoe. Hernangomez, we'll need to keep an eye on the status of Steven Adams. If Steven Adams is out again, I think Willie Hernangomez for 5,400 is a pretty decent option. He should also benefit without Zion, should get more rebounding opportunities without Zion. There should be a little bit more usage available. Hernangomez, not really a guy that's going to score a ton, but definitely someone that can get you a double-double. He did get 5 assists last game, so maybe his assist numbers will see a little bit of a spike with these guys off the floor. If Adams sits, I do like Hernangomez. Najee Marshall started last game. He played 27 minutes. He did not have that great of a game, but he's cheap. The minutes should be there. Don't mind him for value. The guy, though, that really stands out is James Johnson. James Johnson, he was very popular last slate. He was kind of a chalk bust. He didn't really have that good of a game. Now, he was super, super cheap that, he really didn't even kill you. He had 20 DK points in 26 minutes, but obviously we were kind of expecting more from James Johnson. Still, though, he played 26 minutes, and I feel like that was kind of low. I honestly felt like he was going to play around 30 to 32 minutes. It was surprising to see him only play 26 minutes. My best guess, we get a few more minutes from James Johnson today. He would probably play like 28 to 30 if I had to guess. And at 3,800, James Johnson's always been a productive player when he gets minutes. Always been a guy that averages around a fantasy point per minute. He looks like one of the better value plays once again. I think he's too cheap on Draftkings. On Yahoo's minimum salary, I think he's way too cheap over there as well. James Johnson, definitely a guy I'm going to be looking to on both sides. And lastly, Jackson Hayes, I will mention, just because he did have a really good game off the bench. Now, he did it in only 24 minutes. He had 41 DK points in 24 minutes. I don't think I'm going to chase this game from Jackson Hayes. They still have Hernangomez, who's going to get, probably at least 24 minutes, if not more. If Steven Adams plays, that just makes it even trickier. They'll have 3 centers available. Like, if Steven Adams plays, I have zero interest in Jackson Hayes. If Steven Adams is out, then maybe you could play Jackson Hayes. But if I was going to play one of the 2 Pelican centers, assuming Adams sits, I would just rather play Hernangomez just because I think he plays more minutes most of the time. So, yeah, I don't think I'm going to chase that Jackson Hayes game. Really, it's the starters for me from the Pelicans. Lonzo, Bledsoe, Marshall, Johnson, Hernangomez, assuming that Adams sits. I would say that my 3 favorites, though, when you factor in price, are definitely Johnson, number 1, Bledsoe, 2, Lonzo, 3. All 3, though, I think are great options today. And then Hernangomez, Marshall, I think are also viable as well. NAW, though, with him most likely going to be on a minutes limit, I don't really have any interest in him at his price tag. So that probably does it for the Pelicans. Now, on the Charlotte side, looking at the Hornets here, this team remains pretty short-handed, but everyone's kind of been priced up from Charlotte to where I don't have a ton of interest in this team outside of LaMelo Ball. I think LaMelo's a pretty good play here. You also have the narrative of him facing Lonzo going up against each other. I don't know if this really means anything, but if you wanted to play like a LaMelo-Lonzo lineup, I guess you probably could. With the 2 guys going up against each other, maybe they kind of, just go back and forth, just take shot after shot. I don't really know. These 2 teams have already played once this year. LaMelo actually did have a pretty good game against the Pelicans. He nearly had a triple-double, 40 DK points in only 25 minutes. Lonzo, on the other hand, had a terrible game last time these teams played, but I do like both the Ball brothers here. I do prefer Lonzo if I had to choose one, but I think LaMelo is a pretty good option as well. He got up to 34 minutes last game, which is pretty good to see. He's been limited to around 30 minutes ever since he came back from his injury, but played 34 last game. Have to assume that he probably plays around 34 again. He's my favorite play from Charlotte. I don't see a ton, though, that stands out outside of LaMelo. I don't really like Rozier or Washington at their prices. McDaniels feels a little bit too expensive. Malik Monk, you can maybe go to off the bench. He's always a risky option, though. You just never know what you're going to get from Malik Monk. I will mention Bismack Biyombo just because he has been starting recently at center, and he did play 32 minutes last game. Now, I have no idea how many minutes Biyombo plays here. He could play 30 again. He could play 15. He could play 25. There's a wide range of outcomes in Biyombo's minutes, but if you tell me he's going to play 30 minutes again, for 3,900, I think he's probably another really good value play. I have no confidence that he sees 32 minutes again, which makes him super risky. But as long as he's starting, we at least know he's going to get probably like 20 minutes. For 3,900, if you need a cheap center, I guess Biyombo is a decent value. But LaMelo is the guy that really stands out from Charlotte. Not too much else I like on this team outside of LaMelo. Now, next game, we got Minnesota and Orlando. On the Minnesota side, D'Angelo Russell, I like at 7,600. He did get ejected last game, so I don't really look too much into that. He only played 26 minutes, because he got ejected. But he has been starting recently. He did play 37 minutes the game before that against Memphis. I'd assume that he's going to start again and play around 36, 38 minutes here. The matchup against Orlando's pretty good. I mean, Orlando, they don't play very fast, but they're also a pretty bad defensive team. So Russell at 7,600, with him now starting, I do have some interest in D'Angelo Russell. And I will mention Jared Vanderbilt. Now, Jared Vanderbilt, we've seen make spot starts before, and his minutes, you just never know how many minutes he's going to play. He did start last game, though, in place of Jaden McDaniels, and he played 36 minutes, had 37 DK points, was super productive. Look, I have no confidence in his minutes. I have no idea how many minutes he plays today. He could play 36 again. He could play 25. He could play 15. There's a wide range of outcomes in Vanderbilt's minutes, very similar to a guy like Biyombo. But as long as we know that he's starting again, I think we get at least like 20 minutes from Vanderbilt. He's a pretty good he's a pretty good point per minute player. He's a pretty productive player when he's on the floor. At 4,100, I think Vanderbilt's a decent value play today for sure. While Jaden McDaniels remains out, there's going to be more opportunity for him. Now, they could obviously give minutes to Hernan Gomez. They could give minutes to like a ton. They have so many guys. Like they could play Jake Layman, I guess, but it does seem like Vanderbilt's going to, kind of get the first crack at it. And if he does play really well out of the gate, they will play him big minutes like they did last game. And if we get big minutes from Vanderbilt, he's going to be a value play that you want to have because he's a productive player when he's on the floor. Only risk is, you don't know what the minutes are going to look like, but he's still cheap. I'd be fine going to Jared Vanderbilt today. Straight up, though, I think I would rather play James Johnson. But obviously, if you wanted to, you could play, both those guys together. Then on the Orlando side, we got to wait and see what happens with Wendell Carter Jr. He is currently questionable. If he plays, I don't really like much from this Orlando team. Mo Bamba is 7K. I'm only going to go to him if Wendell Carter's out. With Wendell Carter out these last few games, Mo Bamba has started, and he's been really productive. 46, 53, 43 DK points. He's played 29, 31, and 34 minutes. As long as Wendell Carter sits again, we probably get around 32 to 34 minutes from Mo Bamba. The matchup's good against Minnesota. It's a pace-up spot. At 7K, even though the price is way up, I still think Mo Bamba is a really good center option today as long as Wendell Carter remains out. But if Wendell Carter plays, I don't really have any interest in Mo Bamba. And then RJ Hampton is the other guy that I'll mention. He continues to get around 30 minutes off the bench. The price is starting to get up there, so Hampton doesn't look like nearly as good of an option as he did when he was 4,400, when he was 3,600. Now that he's 5,700, it's a bit risky, but still viable just because with this Magic team, with this team being the way they are, they're obviously not playing for anything. They're going to develop these young guys. We're going to continue to see RJ Hampton play around 30 minutes a night, and at 5,700, he's viable for sure. I would say, though, that if Wendell Carter sits, Mo Bamba is the guy I really like from Orlando, and that's probably it now. Next game, we got Chicago and Detroit. This is one I don't have too much interest in. On the Bulls side, they're pretty much fully healthy. They have Zach LaVine back. At these DK price points, I really don't see any standout plays from Chicago. Vooch has been playing really well lately, but at 10,600, I don't think I'm going to pay up for Vooch on this slate. I just rather would play, we're going to talk about Anthony Davis, who I really like. I'd probably rather play Luka as well. I like these mid-range options, Lonzo, LaMelo, these guys we talked about, D'Angelo Russell. Just don't think I'm going to go to Vooch on this slate. I don't really see any standout plays from Chicago. I will mention, though, that Zach LaVine is pretty affordable on Yahoo, so if you want to play him there, he's only $33. His prices come way down on Yahoo. I think LaVine does look like a pretty good option at this Yahoo price. He did play 33 minutes last game. I'd assume his minutes just continue to see, an increase. He's come back from COVID protocols. He's played 27 and 32 minutes. He probably plays like 34, 35 minutes today. LaVine at $33 on Yahoo I think is a pretty good option. Vooch at $39 I like a little bit more. I think Vooch looks like a much better play on Yahoo than he does on DK just because he's a lot more affordable there. So really these Bulls guys, Vooch and LaVine, I like on Yahoo, but really no interest at their DK prices. Now other side of this game, we got the Detroit side. The Pistons, they're a tough team to really gauge right now. This is a back-to-back for Detroit, so there's a very good chance that you do see some guys get rested here. I'd be surprised if Mason Plumlee plays. I'd be surprised if Jeremy Grant plays. I'm assuming those guys most likely will be out. But even if they do get ruled out for rest, that doesn't really change much because Isaiah Stewart's been priced up to 6,700. Sadiq Bey's been priced up to nearly 7K. Even if they rest guys today, none of these Detroit plays really stand out. I will say that, if Corey Joseph gets rested, then maybe we could go to, a Frank Jackson or a Killian Hayes, but this is a Detroit team I just really want to stay away from right now. Everyone's getting priced up. They run a deep rotation. We'll have to see how many bodies they have. They'll probably still have at least, 10 bodies today if I had to guess. I just don't think I'm going to play any Pistons on the slate, at least not where they're priced at. If these guys were cheaper, I'd have more interest, but with Sadiq Bey being priced where he is, with Isaiah Stewart being priced where he is, there's no standout plays from Detroit, even if they do rest some guys. So next game, we got Phoenix and LA. Now, in Phoenix today, I don't see too much I really like on the Suns. The Suns are not a team I really roster much at all. I haven't played many Suns at all this season. Chris Paul and Devin Booker, you could always go to. You know, they always have good upside for tournaments. But on this slate, I'd rather play Lonzo over Devin Booker. I'd rather play LaMelo over Devin Booker. I'd rather play Lonzo and LaMelo over Chris Paul. I just don't think I'm going to get to any Suns. DeAndre Ayton is 6,900, an okay option, but really no standout plays from this team overall. I just don't see much I really like on this Phoenix side. Now, on the Lakers side, definitely changes here. So the Lakers are a team I do actually have a lot of interest in. We already know that LeBron and Dennis Schroeder are both going to be out again. Taylor Horton-Tucker, he's questionable. He can maybe make his return. Kyle Kuzma, though, is doubtful, which I think is pretty big news. With Kyle Kuzma doubtful, that just frees up even more minutes. This Lakers team has been running a pretty tight rotation lately. They've only been playing about 9 guys a night, and I think they do continue to do that. You know, this is a team that they're fighting for, you know, a chance to maybe not make it into the play-in tournament. They don't want to be in the play-in tournament. You really don't want to be in. You want to get the 1 or the, you know, you want to be the 1 through 6. You want to just make the playoffs. You don't want to have to play in the play-in tournament. So they're still trying to win games so that way they don't have to be in the play-in tournament. We saw Anthony Davis play 39 minutes last game in a, you know, tough loss to the Trailblazers. 39 minutes, had 61 DK points. We finally saw like a vintage AD game. Took 23 shots, had 36 and 12 with 5 assists and a block. We know the kind of upside that AD has. You know, when LeBron is off the floor, AD definitely sees an increased usage rate. And since he's come back from his injury, he really hasn't been that productive. We've definitely seen some low floor games from Anthony Davis. He did have that good game against Sacramento. Obviously, he looked really good last game against Portland. I'm willing to take a shot on AD today, though, especially because on a 6-game slate, we don't have a ton of stud options. You know, we've talked about Karl-Anthony Towns, we've talked about Vooch, we've talked about Luka. I don't love any of those guys, though. I think AD's the guy that really stands out as a pay-up option for me, especially if he's going to be a little bit lower owned than some of those other studs that we talked about. I think AD looks really good on Yahoo, though. He's very affordable there, only $38. Like, you compare his price to Luka's. Luka is $53. Like, I would much rather just save the money and play AD. You have Vooch for $39, so I think Vooch looks pretty good, but I don't see any way I pay $53 for Luka when you have Towns for a little bit cheaper, you have Vooch for so much cheaper, you have AD for so much cheaper. These are the guys I'm looking to, and I think AD, probably my favorite stud right now. I expect him to dominate the usage in this offense. I think with no LeBron, with no Schroeder, with Kuzma doubtful, like the ball is just going to be in AD's hands so much. He's going to take a ton of shots. We know AD has massive upside. I like him a lot as a pay-up option today. He's definitely one of my favorite studs overall. Outside of Anthony Davis, though, there are a couple guys I do like on the Lakers outside of AD. Caruso, assuming that he plays, probably gets big minutes here. He played 35 minutes last game, had 29 DK points. With Kuzma out, that just frees up even more minutes. I know Kuzma and Caruso don't play the same position, but no Kuzma just, you know, that's going to spread around even more minutes. Without Dennis Schroeder, without LeBron, we're going to see Caruso start at point guard and likely play, you know, anywhere from 30 to 35 minutes a night at 4,600, even with the price coming up a little bit. I think Caruso is still a decent option, but I would say that my favorite play from the Lakers outside of Anthony Davis is Taylor Horton-Tucker. I really like Taylor Horton-Tucker today, assuming that he plays. Now, obviously, this is going to be something to monitor. He is currently questionable. I'm assuming, though, that if he does play, that he will take Kyle Kuzma's spot in the starting lineup. Kuzma has been starting lately in place of LeBron, but I would assume that if Kuzma sits, he's doubtful. Then we do see Taylor Horton-Tucker move into the starting lineup, assuming that he plays. Now, Taylor Horton-Tucker didn't have that good of a game last game against Denver. I played him that slate. He came off the bench, only played 21 minutes, but now there is no Kuzma, along with no Schroeder and no LeBron. Like, there's a good chance we get around 30 minutes from THT, if not more than that. We know THT is productive when he's on the floor. He's a high-usage guy. He's a guy that can, you know, average around a fantasy point per minute. If THT plays today and he starts, he's one of my favorite value plays. I like him a lot on both sides. 4,100 on DK, very affordable. And on Yahoo, he has minimum salary, so I like him a lot over there as well. Right now, he's the guy that I'm looking to at small forward. I think he's one of my favorite small forwards and one of my favorite values overall today, assuming that he does play. Now, if he doesn't play, obviously with no Kuzma, with Kuzma doubtful, if THT were to sit as well, then you would probably get like more minutes available for Ben McLemore. Ben McLemore could be a decent value play. Like, I'm fine playing THT in my lineup, and then if THT gets ruled out, just swap to Ben McLemore. They both play, or they're both small forward eligible on DK, so you could do that. But outside of those guys, I don't think I see too much else on the Lakers. KCP, I think benefits without LeBron, without Schroeder, without Kuzma. He played 38 minutes last game, was actually pretty productive, had 31 DK points. Normally KCP is not a guy that I really like to roster just because he's not that productive of a player. But with all these guys out, there should definitely be more usage available for KCP. should be more opportunity available for him. I think he's a pretty decent value play as well. So AD and Taylor Horton-Tucker are my two favorite plays from the Lakers, but I do like Alex Caruso as well. I do have interest in KCP. If THT gets ruled out, then I think we could look to a guy like Ben McLemore. But that probably does it for this Lakers team. Now, last game of the night we'll go ahead and talk about is OKC and Sacramento. So OKC on a back-to-back today. Keep an eye on who's in, who's out for the Thunder. I don't really want to play any Thunder on the slate, though. The matchup's good against Sacramento, but this is just not a team I really want to be rostering guys from. They're running a deep rotation every night. They're just spreading out the minutes so much that at their price points, really no guys stand out from OKC to me. Maybe Moses Brown you could go to. If he starts and plays around 25, 30 minutes, he could be an okay option. You never know what the minutes are going to look like, but if you want to go to Moses Brown, I don't mind him. He did have a really good game against Sacramento when these teams did play a couple days ago. I would say that if you forced me to play someone on OKC, it probably would be Moses Brown. But overall, I think this is a team that I'm just going to keep avoiding. I haven't been playing any Thunder lately, and I'm probably not playing any Thunder on this slate. Now on the Sacramento side, we're going to have to keep an eye on the news here. So De'Aaron Fox has been cleared from protocols, from COVID protocols, but we don't exactly know yet if he's going to be able to play or not. Keep an eye on this. If De'Aaron Fox plays, I don't really want to play anyone on Sacramento. If Fox is in, there's no standout plays from this Kings team. But if De'Aaron Fox is out again, I think we can look to a guy like DeLon Wright, to a guy like Buddy Hield. But they've gotten priced up to a point where I don't think they're really standout options anymore. Like DeLon Wright is $7,700. Obviously, without De'Aaron Fox and without Halliburton, he's been playing really well. He's been playing massive minutes. But at $7,700, you need nearly 50 DK points from him to be a really good play at this price tag. Obviously, DeLon Wright can do that. He's put up 50 DK points in 2 of his last 3 games, but I'd be a bit hesitant to roster him now that he is $7,700. But he would at least be viable as long as Fox is out. If Fox plays, though, I'm just not going to any Kings on the slate. Everyone's been priced up for when Fox was out that nobody would really stand out if Fox is in. If Fox sits, though, then we could maybe go to Buddy Hield. We could maybe go to Wright. At their prices, though, I don't think they're like standout options. So that probably does it for the Sacramento team. I think that does it for all 6 games today, guys. I know it went a little quicker than normal, but as I said, I was recording this video already, or I already had it recorded. I was getting ready to finish, and then I had to restart, which is super annoying. But I hope you guys did enjoy this quick little breakdown of this Sunday slate. If you did enjoy, hit that like button, guys. Hit that subscribe button as well. And be sure to click the notification bell so that way you get notified every time I upload, and you also do get notified every time I live stream. Guys, it is the weekend. As always, I normally don't stream on the weekend, so I probably won't be live on Sunday, but I'll definitely be back for a stream on Monday. I hope to see you guys then. Obviously, I'll have a video out for Monday slate as well. But anyways, guys, best of luck tonight. Appreciate you watching. Hope you did enjoy the video. We'll see you in the next one. Good luck tonight, guys. Peace.